Thank you, co-chairs. Good afternoon, everybody. I have some slides, which means my challenge now in the next 10 minutes is not an easy one. So I shall start. Well, OUP has established its reputation internationally as an English language teaching publisher and an educational publisher over many years. And typically it's been demand for its ELT materials that has been at the forefront of the development of its presence in international markets. This is certainly true in China, where OUP's initial focus was almost exclusively on English language teaching. So we can see this pattern, I think, across the industry. So we have English language teaching characterizing itself with a flag-bearing capacity to facilitate international development more generally. More recently, beginning in the 1980s, OUP became a significant Chinese language teaching publisher for learners in Hong Kong, particularly in primary and secondary schools, under the Keys publishing imprint. I shall keep going. So in the very brief time I have available, I'd like to share some thoughts and insights and observations about how our involvement in ELT and CLT might support the further advancement of Chinese language learning in particular. And I'm drawing on our experience across Asia, in Japan, in South Korea, and in many other markets. Chinese and English, as we've heard already, are the world's two most widely spoken languages. And I think it's worth recognizing the potential scale of the opportunity for Chinese language teaching. We've already heard some of the statistics this afternoon. Typically, it's quite hard to pin down exact numbers, but in preparing and thinking about today's discussions, I've come across various estimates. So, for example, estimates of non-native Chinese language learners ranging from 30 million to over 100 million worldwide. Another interesting point of reference might be the number of international HSK or Chinese proficiency test takers. Here, the numbers are increasing rapidly, and estimates indicate that currently we have between 650,000 and 700,000 test takers per annum. Whatever the exact figures are, the worldwide market for second language learners for Chinese and English is very large by volume and value, and it's growing rapidly. And I think I would add it's underpinned by some inherently attractive characteristics, including high levels of learner motivation. So experiences in building ELT internationally can help us to envisage perhaps a more widely developed international market for Chinese language teaching materials. And with such a vision in mind, we can chart a possible roadmap towards a more widely developed Chinese language teaching industry. So what are some of the main contributory factors that support such a vision? I'd say one of the most important is learner motivation, where the role of the publisher is really only part of the story. Commercial and political factors come into play, along with perceived employment prospects and wider personal and cultural factors and aspirations. Learning a language can be seen as a form of investment. People want to be confident that it will directly improve their material prospects beyond the valuable but less tangible benefits that derive from learning a new language. Our experiences in ELT tell us that in order to nurture demand, we have to engage learners, teachers, educational administrators, employers, and policymakers, and seek to understand how these factors affect their decisions. Then we have to apply that understanding through our publishing. But in that context, where does one begin? So today I've identified 4 areas, and there are more that one could add to this list, which inform, I think, successful ELT publishing and could pertain to Chinese language teaching publishing. And here they are. Let's start with dictionaries. OUP's approach, drawing on its core strength as an ELT publisher, has been to create a series of dictionaries, and most recently we published the Chinese Dictionary in 2010, which is a considerable reference source. It's also helped to build a bridge across language corpora and indeed English and Chinese-speaking communities. And we see that as being one of the cornerstones of future developments for CLT. We also believe the dictionary will be a focal point for relationships with other key stakeholders. Another important stage in the development of CLT that one might expect to see is the clarification of market segments and the development of operational capabilities that support them. Examples of segmentation are by level or by age, or indeed by sources of funding such as state or private provision. And in this respect, CLT might draw upon the experiences of ELT, including the establishment of successful national and international distribution networks. In OUP's experience, establishing a local market presence and identity that complements our global brand values has been hugely important. Local staff bring a deep understanding of education markets and norms and enable us to work closely with teaching communities, government departments, and other key stakeholders. The provision of teacher training materials tailored to local needs is another crucial success factor, as is the ability to create and adapt materials to meet a wide range of specific market requirements. The third significant challenge in publishing for a language globally is that of having to support a wide diversity of teaching and learning styles. Increasingly, our experiences indicate there is no single correct methodology. Recent literature suggests that we've moved now into a post-methods era where good teaching takes into account student needs, their cultural background, and individual differences. And I would suggest that this also is a challenge for Chinese language teaching. The challenge also presents publishers with an opportunity. A topic of considerable interest amongst educators and policymakers around the world is the importance of ongoing assessment of performance. And technology here is opening up exciting new possibilities to provide diagnostic, summative, and formative evaluation as integral components in an overall learning program. So in this scenario, teachers have an opportunity to enhance learning by being able to align activities more closely to individual needs. And this leads to the fourth area. And that, of course, is technology and digitization. In common with other areas of education, language teaching environments are undergoing digital transformation. While the pace and scale of change may differ across markets and segments, the direction of travel is consistent. Increasingly, teachers and learners are waking up to the potential of mobile technologies, devices, learning platforms, and associated systems and services, all of which save them time and help to motivate learning. I don't think in language teaching we're witnessing the rapid shift from print to online that characterised academic publishing markets. However, neither ELT nor CLT publishers should underestimate the quiet revolution that is underway in classrooms around the world. So in conclusion, while CLT publishers may not yet have the requisite scale to pursue each of these areas simultaneously and globally, it strikes me that there should be an opportunity to build partnerships that plug into existing ELT networks and expertise. And in this scenario, with each party bringing distinctive skills and knowledge to bear on a set of shared goals, the opportunity exists to pursue successful strategies to support the growth and interest of CLT around the world. Thank you, and I hope I've stuck to time.